I come from a Muslim family, but I live in the West and my parents are liberal in comparison to my extended family. They've given me a lot of freedom, but there were still a few rules that I knew I should never break. One of them was not getting pregnant before marriage. I never thought it would be the rule I broke because I was never really interested in dating. I had always wanted to wait until marriage, which was partly due to my upbringing and partly because the idea of having lots of casual sex just never appealed to me. This was until I met the man who would later become my husband. Looking back, I behaved totally out of character from the way I normally am. I still have no idea why I did what I did or what my thought process behind any of it was, but I very quickly threw out a lot of the values I held because I enjoyed the attention he was giving me. For 6 months, it was like I was completely intoxicated by him. Then I found out I was pregnant, and reality came crashing down very quickly. I was terrified to tell my family or my husband. My friend suggested that I tell my husband first so I could come up with a game plan before I had to tell my family. I was a crying, ugly mess when I finally did tell my husband. His family is also Muslim, but they make even my parents look super conservative and traditional by comparison, so he didn't seem to understand why I was so upset or scared. When I finally calmed down enough to explain how strict my extended family was, he told me he would speak to my parents for me and he would tell them we were going to get married before anyone found out I was pregnant. I didn't think he was serious because we barely knew each other. He had been very clear that he was only in it for the fun and he was someone who didn't intend to ever commit to one woman. And it wasn't like his family would hate him for having a baby, but he kept insisting that this would be the perfect solution and he wanted to fix things. We've been married for 2 years and things have been going much better than I could have ever hoped for. Our families get along great. My parents really like my husband, which I never thought would happen because my dad wanted to kill him when we first found out. The only issue I have is that my husband likes everything his way, and the fact that he has never been in a relationship where he has had to compromise because they usually did whatever it took to keep him happy and interested has given him a false sense of always being right. Whenever we have a disagreement, he loves to say that being married was his compromise and that he protected my reputation, so the least I could do is give him this one thing. It's never just the one thing though. In our entire marriage, he has only backed down 3 times, and 2 of those times was when I was pregnant and only because my sister gave him trouble for stressing out the pregnant lady. Disagreements aren't the only time he brings up the fact that he saved my reputation. I'm starting to suspect he's getting off on the knowledge that despite having other offers, I had never behaved the way I did with him with anyone else. I lost count of the number of times he brought this up. I feel like I need to figure out a way to stick up for myself and not back down when he tries to use it to get his way, and ideally a way to get him to stop bringing it up altogether. If anyone has any suggestions on how to achieve either of these, I would really appreciate it. I dated a guy named Joe for 3 months before he had left me to go back to his ex. Right after we broke up, I found out I was pregnant and now I'm 24 weeks. I let him know and he was ecstatic. Turns out his girlfriend had fertility issues and would likely never be able to get pregnant naturally, and he has always wanted to be a father. Getting back together was out of the question for both of us, so he's still with his girlfriend. Joe was only allowed at the initial appointment because of COVID, and we found out I was having twins. According to Joe, when he told his girlfriend, she had a mental breakdown about her infertility and she wanted to talk to me. I met them at their house, and his girlfriend Kim stated that she wanted to be involved in my pregnancy because she would eventually be the children's stepmother. She started telling me weird things like I needed to prepare for a home birth and that I need to formula feed so that they could have the babies half of the week, and that she wanted one boy and one girl. She also wants the kids to call her mama since they would be calling me mommy. I shut her down and said I would make the best choices for my children and my body and left. Kim continued to be overbearing. She texted me every day about my eating habits, exercise habits, and bitching about how her job wouldn't let her take maternity leave. At my virtual genetics counseling appointment, she attended instead of Joe and took over the whole meeting trying to talk about her family history, which wasn't even relevant. When it came time for my 20-week level 2 scan, they allowed me one guess and Joe suggested I take Kim instead of him, which I refused to do. Joe did end up coming and he found out the gender because I wanted to keep it a surprise for me and we could throw a gender reveal party. I put a pregnancy announcement on my social media and Kim did too. She made an announcement stating that they're expecting twins the non-traditional way and how blessed they were. I was irritated, but I kept my mouth shut until she had a gender reveal party, posted it on social media, and didn't even invite me. She also announced that she's having a baby shower. I commented on her post and told her to stop treating me like a surrogate and that the kids aren't hers and Joe doesn't have custody until they are born. I then called Joe and reiterated all of this to him, and I let him know that I'm not going to be seeing either of them until we went to family court and my mother would be my birthing partner. Joe and Kim and some of her family and friends are saying that I'm the asshole, and her mother even called and insisted that I give her one of the babies like this is the parent trap. What do I do to get her off my back?